It looks like the circulation is passing northeast of Medford, and it'll be moving up toward Renfro. And you guys in Deer Creek, that's the Deer Creek in northern Oklahoma, stay alert. This thing will probably go to your north, but
Gary,
yeah, go ahead, Bobby.
There are power lines down now on the south side of Medford.
Okay.
There are power lines down. I'm looking to see if there's any debris other than the power lines tilted over and pretty much snapped in two.
Okay, you've got about a look like 8 or 10 second delay in your video coming in and the streaming. But Bobby up there, I see Val, I see Marty's up there, and then also you're looking at the hook echo. Then at the lower levels, the hook echo has decreased. You're looking in the upper levels right now. We've looked up a little bit to see if the circulation's still there, and it is about 7,500 feet. And it probably will build down again. I'll bring it down to ground level, and you see it's not nearly as well defined, but there's still indication of a tornado potentially on the ground east of Medford. Real high-speed winds going in different directions, very close together, side by side, but they're blowing in opposite directions. So from east of Medford to Renfro to Deer Creek.
Gary.
Go ahead.
Gary.
Yeah.
We have major damage just west of Medford. We're 1 mile west of Medford. There is a house here about a mile west of Medford. There's a house. The house, most of the house is okay. It's still there. All the barns behind the house are completely leveled, absolutely leveled.
Okay.
So there is damage just west of Medford, as a matter of fact.
Go ahead, Val.
Major damage over here, 1 mile west of Medford. There's a house on the north side of the highway. We're 1 section mile west of Medford, a brick house on the north side of the highway here. The house is still intact, most of the house, but the barns behind the house, it's just a pile of rubble in the barns. And there's debris scattered all over the guy's front yard, all over the place. There's debris. But luckily, it looks like the house is still okay, Gary.
Okay, can you proceed on down the road?
Yes, we're going to go on into Medford. Wait a minute. Okay. Oh, look on the right. Look on the right side over there. I think we have more damage over here on the south side of the highway. Power is definitely off. See damage? Okay. We're going to keep going to Medford, Gary. The tornado definitely crossed over here, this highway, 1 mile west of Medford at this point. At least one of the tornadoes did. It's possible there's two with this one, but one of them crossed right over here, Gary.
Okay, Val. We show a strong circulation just east-northeast of Medford by about 4 miles, it looks like. So from Renfro, this is far north-central Oklahoma, from Renfro down to about 4 miles east of Medford, then east to Deer Creek, and then Bremen. It could well make it to you guys, too. Later, South Haven, Kansas, but it's right not that many miles south of the border. So right now, it looks like to us, based on where the tornado vortex signature is, that's the tornado circulation along Highway 11. Highway 11, and it's 1, 2, 3, it's exactly 4 miles east of Medford. It looks like it's been moving a little bit to the east. So you guys over at Deer Creek, which is along Highway 11, let's call it Numa, Deer Creek, Narden, along Highway 11. If you live along Highway 11 or north of Highway 11 and eastern Grant Haas, and it's if Val Castor and Bobby Payne storm directors can hear me, this low-level, high-intensity, high-velocity winds just east of Medford.
Okay. I'm in Medford right now, Gary. We're right in the center of town. No damage that I can see right here as of yet. I just came in from the west side. Power is absolutely, completely out in Medford. There's not a lick of power here in town. I have not seen any damage right in the middle of town yet. I'm going to turn south on Main Street here and go south and see what's over here, but no power at all in Medford. We did see some pretty major damage just to the west of town, about 1 mile, but so far so good in Medford that we've seen.
Okay, well, this thing's cranking up again, as I mentioned, just right now about 5 miles east of Medford along Highway 11. So in north-central Oklahoma, for those of you who know that area, this is far north-central, and it's along Highway 11, 4 miles east of Medford, over to Numa, to Deer Creek in northern Oklahoma, to Narden, and possibly over later to the Blackwell area, but that remains to be seen. So if you live north of Highway 11, and you live west of I-35 and east of 81, that'll take out a little rectangle, so to speak, in there for you. Go ahead.
Do you want that one on?
Yeah, until we get some more video coming in from those guys, we can put up XL there. And you can see this thing's intensifying. Slow mover, but this says to us just a very intense circulation. Those are just really strong winds going in opposite directions. East, about 6 miles east of Medford to Bremen, that whole area up in here should continue with your tornado precautions. And so let's check in now with Val. What do you have?
Gary, we drove south in Medford and west in Medford. Now we're on the east side of Medford and have not seen any major damage at all right in the town. We did see some barns completely destroyed at a residence 1 mile west of Medford earlier. We know we at least had one tornado touchdown there. But so far, so good for the town of Medford, at least on the east and the west and the south sides. We did not go up to the north side to see what was going on there. But anyway, pretty good news for the main part of the town of Medford right now, Gary. We are going east right now. Can you give me the location on that mezzo east of us? We can't see because we're in the rain.
Okay, I would have it just a second here. I'll tell you exactly where it is from downtown Medford. 5 miles east-northeast toward an angle of about azimuth about 070.
Going to be north of the highway then, right?
Just a little bit north of the highway. At least that's where it is at about 1,700 feet above ground level.
Got it. Thank you. Power's completely off also in Medford. No power anywhere near Medford at all. Emergency vehicles running all over the place in Medford looking around for the damage. There was quite a few, I guess you could say, fire trucks and police out at the residence that was damaged a little bit earlier. But anyway, I think fairly good news, at least for the main part of the town of Medford right now, Gary.
Okay, you guys holler if you have anything. That mesocyclone, this tornadic circulation continues to intensify east of Medford, and we're going to check in with Kelly Ogle. Kelly? We'll have Kelly in just a second here. I will tell you, as you look at that radar, in fact, you might punch up ESP2.
This is a shot of the Medford tornado. There it is. Gary, that's a great shot our storm trackers are giving us from up there. There's a good look at it. Let's go back over to Gary now.
It became quite a bit bigger than that several times. It's a huge rotation. It kept spawning tornadoes as it moved along. So the tornado passing very close to or parts of the Medford area. It has moved on to the east. There's just a humongous circulation out to the east. The strongest I've seen all evening, all night. And it's northwest of Deer Creek. It's southeast of Renfro, Deer Creek area, northern Oklahoma. You go 4 miles west on Highway 11, 1 mile north. That's where the center of the circulation is, but, you know, you can get damage other places. Now, we keep getting so that's with that. And like I said, those yellow winds right there indicate, you know, winds close to 100 miles an hour moving away. And this over here indicates the strong winds almost the same speed moving toward the radar, which is in the upper left there, over to the left. And we keep seeing this down there, but this looks like that strong wind, so this may be a bogus, but it says it may not. It says 764 feet above ground level, so there might be a little tornado right on the leading edge of this big. Go ahead, Bobby.
Gary, right now I'm about 3 miles and a quarter east of Medford, right on Highway 11, and I do have, it looks like some damage, some power line flows. I see a lot of tin that's wrapped around some fences. So this storm has been producing, looks like a long track tornado east of Medford, or actually it was west of Medford earlier. I'm seeing sometimes in the lightning flashes what used to be a tree. It looks like it's been sheared off about halfway. Right now I have a very strong northwest winds. This would be the rippling downdraft. So I've got really hardly any visibility right now, but I do have some damage now about a little bit more than 3 miles east of Medford, right along Highway 11, Gary.
All right, Bobby, want to give us your location again and a description of what you see at this moment, because we see a humongous circulation. Not a real technical term, but it means a big, strong circulation just northwest of Deer Creek.
Are they across the road? Okay.
Go ahead, Bobby.
Gary, that was me. We're coming across that same damage path that I think Bobby was talking about, except we are a mile and three quarters east of Medford right now. We have power poles down, pointed to the south. Okay, so this was the west edge of the tornado, and it must have been a large one. that crossed here. All the power lines are blown down towards the south over here, Gary.
Whoa. Yeah, it was big. If it does that, that's a huge circulation when it takes everything south or north in one large area.
Exactly. And we're going east still, so we're going to see what we come across up here. But I heard Bobby say 3.5 miles east, so evidently there's more damage. And I'm sure it didn't go directly across the road. It probably slightly paralleled the road to the east-northeast, I'm thinking, for a while. So there might be damage intermittently along the road up here. But
okay.
There's
okay,
another power line.
Val, hold on a second, Val. We got another tornado warning up there in Grant County. This is just west of Pond Creek, southwest of Jefferson. That's with this storm right in here. They said that means a tornado vortex signature, radar indicated. The little triangle's pointing down. So it's southwest of Jefferson by about 5 miles, about the same distance west-northwest of Pond Creek. So we have a tornado warning.
Pond Creek on the south one, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, the Pond Creek area. Tornado warning from there. What is the movement on that?
Was that for me?
What'd you have on the movement?
East at 20.
Okay. Okay, this one's moving east-southeast at 20, so it'd be moving toward Jefferson and Pond Creek, later Salt Fork and Lamont. If it turns any more to the right, it'll go down toward Hunter.
Hunter's without power right now.
Hunter's without power, so lots of problems in the far north-central Oklahoma. It looks like 2 tornado warnings. I'll go back to my velocities here. I can see.
We got more broken power lines.
Where are you, Val?
We got more broken power lines. We're 2.5 miles east of Medford right now. They're broken. Which way are they headed to the south? They're all broken towards the south. Here, I don't know if this was due to the tornado or maybe strong wrap around the tornado, but we got damage. We've had damage probably now for 3/4 of a mile from power line damage over here, Gary. Also, I was want to ask you. With a tornado warning to the south there, should we continue to follow this, or should you send us to the south to that storm? Just want to know what you want us to do, Gary.
We're relatively busy in here, Val. I don't know if it depends on where you can get around. This thing is going northeast up toward Bremen. In fact, let's go now to ESP1 until 2. Until
Gary,
2.
This is Bobby.
Yeah, go ahead, Bobby.
I'm still at my same location, about 3.25 to 3.5 miles east of Medford. We may have some structural damage out here. I can't really tell what type of structures it was, but if we could possibly get someone from Medford or the vicinity out here to check this area, looks like.
Gary.
Yeah, we may have had some structures out here that have been directly hit and leveled, so I can't really tell. I've got a lot of heavy rain falling. Again, the trees in this area looks like have been sheared about halfway, so it looks like a big tornado crossed this area right where I'm at, Gary.
Okay, and I see your location. Go ahead.
Oh, Gary, I've just now come across some damage, some pretty major damage. We've seen power lines down for the last 1.5 miles, and now
6 miles west of Medford on Highway 11. Tornado damage there. But I got to tell you, this thing northwest of Deer Creek. Now, Deer Creek, you can easily get some damaging winds in there, too. So Deer Creek area is far northern Oklahoma. Tornado continues to be indicated with that mesocyclone and rotation going up near Deer Creek.
Report on Gettner.
Go ahead, Bobby. Talk to me.
Gary, I'm about 3.5 miles east of Medford, and there is a lot of structural damage or damage along Highway 11. There's power lines down on both sides of the road, and as a matter of fact, the road on Highway 11 is totally blocked by 2 big power lines that's basically elevated a little bit right above the road. So Highway 11, east of Medford, is going to be a very dangerous and treacherous place to drive. I'm seeing a lot of debris scattered out in the field here, Gary. I see tin, I see wood. I think there's probably even some structural damage to maybe even some residences out here. We need to get emergency crews out east of Medford, about 3.25 to 3.5 miles east of Medford as quickly as possible, Gary.
Okay, Bobby, give us your specific location again.
I am 3.25 to 3.5 miles east of Medford. East of Medford, 3.25 to 3.5 miles east of Medford.
Okay.
A lot of structural damage right here along Highway 11.
Thank you, Bobby. Go ahead, Val.
And that is 3 1/4 to 3.5 miles east of the center of town of Medford on this road. And there's you know, the
Val, your phone.
One of those across the road, it's pretty much impassable. And there is emergency vehicle now at the house that has the damage south of the highway here. He's out there checking for people, I guess, people that might have been affected. But Gary, if you're still there, the house, most of the house is intact. The tornado, the main part of the tornado passed just to the south of the house and wiped out everything in its path.
Okay. By the way, you're watching News 9 at 10, so we have homes destroyed. Is that what you're saying, Val? More than 1, 2?
Yeah, and see, this is east of Medford, 3.5 miles. I see a flashlight in the rain in the guy's backyard, so there's movement out there. There's a policeman here that he went to check the house, and he came out of it, so I'm assuming everything is okay at that point. But you cannot get through Highway 11 east of Medford, 3.5 miles. Large diameter power cables across the road right there, Gary.
Okay, Val, appreciate it. Anytime you guys have anything new, just jump in and interrupt me here. I will say this storm, that's the circulation is just, boy, it's very close to Deer Creek. It's taking a little turn to the east, and as you look at that out there, there's that little triangle pointing down, and it was going northeast, and it's turned east again. Usually when they turn east like this in a situation, they'll be producing on there: Nardin, Bremen, Blackwell, Greenville, Dilworth, Peckham. And then you've got this other storm as we look at XL. And I'll get this thing stopped here in a second. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
On Storm Action 1, there's a picture from Val a little bit earlier with the tornado. It was near Medford, just west of Medford before it moved in. So
okay,
Storm Action 1.
Storm Action 1, that was Val's shot a little earlier. Bobby had that same shot. There were several tornadoes like that came down, rotating around the mesocyclone, apparently doing a lot of damage. We have heard, Kelly, have we heard of any injuries?
Have not had any injuries reported. The EMS there in Medford tells us so far they have not had any reports of any injuries. We do know there's some power outages in the Deer Creek area. We heard all of Medford is without power as well.
Here's a look at some of the tornado damage. No power there in Medford. Multiple power poles down across the area, across Highway 11. It's impassable right now. There's damage to homes near Medford. We haven't had any injuries reported. We just checked with EMS, and they haven't heard of any just as a few minutes ago.
It sounds like most of the damage that our guys have seen has been about 3 to 6 miles west of downtown, or excuse me, east of downtown Medford along Highway 11. And Gary, it almost sounds like that thing almost tracked right down Highway 11 there for a while. Fortunately, maybe it lifted when it went through Medford, because I talked to someone in the middle of downtown Medford, and there was no damage there, and Val reported that too from Medford, but we know that there was damage near Highway 11 west and east of Medford.
Yeah, and they're very fortunate because it apparently blew some things away east of Medford a few miles. The report coming in there. Val, you on Gettner?
Yes, I am.
We have your tornado video up here. Just tell us, though, what's going on with you right now.
Okay. Yeah, Gary, that was earlier southwest of Medford, watching those tornadoes. You know, I don't know how many we saw there. At one point, Gary, there was 2 tornadoes on the ground at one time. And that would probably explain why there's tornado damage west of Medford and tornado damage east of Medford. The east of Medford tornado looks to me like it was quite a bit bigger. We went through that, and I saw very substantial damage, both to the south of Medford and to the east of Medford. So it looks like to me the biggest one tracked just north of that power plant that me and Bobby were talking about there. It went to the west and the north of that power plant and crossed the highway a couple miles or so, 1.5 miles or 2 miles south of Medford, and gone northeast on the ground the whole time, I think, and crossed the highway there 3 to 3.5 miles east of Medford, Gary, and it was quite a big tornado, it looks like, as we saw lots and lots of damage.
Yeah, Val, we have an excellent shot of the wall cloud and the tornado, your classic funnel tornado, cone-shaped, as it was approaching the Medford area. And we're just And it is quite impressive. As we will continue to look at that tornado, and there were several of them up there with quite a bit of damage. Ping pong ball size hail 1 mile south, 3 miles east of Hollis. That's southwest Oklahoma. Ping pong ball size hail, 1 mile south, 3 miles east.
3 miles.
3 miles east of Hollis. So these are pretty good hailstorms down there. Ping pong ball could go bigger than that, southwest Oklahoma. I'll let you continue looking at that tornado. And I will just tell you that big circulation continues just east of Deer Creek. And you guys, Blackwell, Brayman, that area should continue with your tornado precautions. And down to Lamont, Salt Fork, and in this area of Hunter, I see some fairly strong winds, 65, 70 miles per hour. Let's check in with Kelly Ogle. Kelly?